It started on a rainy Thursday evening in Seattle, the kind of night where the city lights blurred against wet pavement. I had ducked into a small jazz bar after work, seeking nothing more than warmth and a quiet drink. That's where I saw him, Ethan Miller, the last person I expected to run into. We had known each other years ago, back in college. Life had pulled us in different directions, and though I had thought of him now and then, I never believed our paths would cross again. He looked older, more refined, but his eyes still carried the same restless energy. "Rachel?" he asked, disbelief in his tone as he approached my table. I laughed, equally surprised. "Ethan, it's been, 15 years?" We sat together, at first catching up like old acquaintances. Jobs, family, the usual small talk. But beneath it, something heavier lingered. Memories of a night long ago that had ended in misunderstanding and silence. It was never supposed to matter again. We had moved on. Or at least I thought I had. Yet as the music swelled around us, I realized I still remembered everything. The way he used to challenge me, the way we once dreamed out loud about futures that never came to be. The rain kept pouring, so we stayed. One drink became two, and before long, we were no longer speaking as strangers, but as two people who had once known each other's souls. At one point, Ethan leaned back, studying me with an intensity that made my breath catch. "Whatever happened back then," he said softly, "it doesn't matter anymore." Not to me. I froze. Because those words unlocked something I had kept buried for years. Back in college, I had pulled away from Ethan, afraid of how deeply I felt for him. He had wanted commitment. I had wanted freedom. We parted without ever truly admitting what was between us. Now, sitting across from him, older and perhaps a little wiser, I wondered if I had made the biggest mistake of my life. "I used to think about calling you," I admitted, surprising myself. But I always convinced myself it was too late. His eyes softened. "Rachel," I would have answered. Every time. The night stretched on, and with every word, every laugh, every memory, I realized something undeniable. Ethan didn't just want to remember the past. He wanted more. Not in the reckless, impulsive way of youth, but in the deliberate, intentional way of someone who had lived enough to know what mattered. And deep down, I realized I wanted more too. But reality weighed heavy. I had a career, responsibilities, a life built carefully over decades. "Ethan," I whispered, "we're not the same people we were. What if it doesn't work?" He leaned closer, his voice steady. "Then it doesn't. But what if it does? What if this is the chance we were always supposed to take?" The rain outside had slowed to a drizzle, but inside, my heart raced. Weeks passed, and Ethan and I began seeing each other more often. Coffee on Saturdays, walks through Pike Place Market, evenings by the waterfront. It wasn't about rewriting the past. It was about building something new, piece by piece. Sometimes doubts crept in, but every time Ethan reminded me, whatever it was back then, it doesn't matter. What matters is now. And slowly, I began to believe him. Looking back now, I realize that life rarely gives second chances. But when it does, it's up to us to take them. Whatever fears, mistakes, or regrets we once carried, none of it mattered anymore. Because in the end, he still wanted more. And so did I.